Well, hello. I'm super excited that you guys have joined me today. I am here with Ryan Day, and he's a franchise owner from homecleanheroes.com. I'm super excited that he's joined us today because I know we've got a lot of questions about whether you go solo, whether you jump into a franchise. And so we've got a lot of questions prepared today, and he took time off work today to have this conversation with us. So I'm really excited about this. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I love being here. I love do these podcasts, answer questions, and just have a general conversation about what it is I do and why I do it.
You just said something about a customer with unrealistic expectations. And
Yes.
in the cleaning, behind the cleaning scenes, cleaners call those high maintenance customers. So,
Yes.
what do you do when you run into a homeowner with unrealistic expectations?
You just have to handle it accordingly. So I'll give you a prime example. We had a customer that we went on an initial clean for, and their house was, let's just say it needed some TLC. I'll leave it there for the imagination. In their kitchen, they had very older traditional wooden cabinets, and they cook a lot. I don't know what exactly it is they cook a lot, but there's a lot of kick up onto the cabinets. There was a lot of things on these cabinets. And because it's real wood, a lot of that has soaked into the wood over the years. So it's really, really hard to get that off of there. And
Mhm.
frankly, it probably will take multiple sessions of cleaning it. Like sometimes you can't get everything on the first round. You need to let the products do what they need to do, loosen some of that up. And then the next time we come by, we'll hit it again really hard until we can try and get it off. But there is a point where we're not HGTV. We can't remodel a home, right? And those cabinets, they were too far gone. There was no way to bring those back up without refinishing them and getting that layer literally out of the wood. So I had that conversation with her. I said, "Listen, ma'am, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but these cabinets, I don't think we're going to be able to get them back original. They're raw wood. Things have soaked into them." And she says, "Well, do what you can." I said, "Okay, all right." So I believed we were on the same page with this, and my specialist worked as hard as they could to really get some of that off. I personally really gave it the scrub and tried to get some of that stuff off there. But like I said, those cabinets couldn't have been saved. And we got called on it. I think she called it a day later and said, "I'm really disappointed in the fact that you guys couldn't get my cabinets to look like when I bought them 30 years ago or 40 years ago or whatever." I said, "Ma'am, I'm really sorry. We had this conversation. I hate to say this, but I told you I didn't think we'd be able to get these original." And this is the part that's really tricky. You can't just sit there and tell somebody you destroyed them too much. This is your
Mhm.
fault. It's
Mhm.
very aggressive. It doesn't come across very professional. So I said, "Ma'am, I'm really sorry. It's been too long of too much going against the wood. We just are not able to repair that. I'm sorry. You're probably going to need to refinish those cabinets to get that layer of stuff off of there." She didn't like that answer. And so she requested to cancel all future services. And that's okay. I mean, I tried to set the expectation up front. You cannot please everybody. And that was one of those unrealistic expectations of something.
And so, what do you do when you run into a situation where you have to cut ties and you're like, this is not working and it's not going to be healthy for us to try to continue this relationship? Let's say that it wasn't the customer that wanted to cancel the service, but let's suppose that it was you. How do you deal with that?
It's a really sensitive talk, whether that be on site, on the job, or a phone conversation. I try and make time to do that in person if I can. We haven't had too much of that because generally on the in-home estimate, I won't take the job if it's going to be something that's a little too out of our scope of work. But in the instance, we have to essentially fire a customer. We have that conversation. I say, "Listen, ma'am, sir, I'm really sorry that we have to do this, but I don't think we're going to continue to be a good fit for you for X amount of reasons." And it depends on what it is, kind of how you'll phrase that conversation. But say the cabinet person wasn't really up in arms about it, but every time we would go there, she had the expectation it would get better, and it wouldn't, but she wasn't
Mhm.
willing to split ties with us. And she just kept bringing it up and bringing it up. And after I've told her numerous times, there's just no way of bringing this back, that this just is not going to be a good fit because we can't do what you're asking us to do. Just fall on the sword. That's my thing. If you take that bullet, you fall on the sword and you're the bad guy, they can relinquish ties with you. They can say, "Okay, I'm not going to use their service anymore." And you did the best you could with what you had. You know what I mean? But the customer hopefully won't hold it against you personally to say, listen, you're not the problem. I am. I'm really sorry. This just isn't going to be a good fit for us any longer. We'll do what we can. We'll get you situated and possibly even give recommendations to others. But like I said, the biggest thing is you just want to say, this isn't a good fit for us anymore.
There you go. This has been really, really awesome. Ryan, if you will, tell our listeners where they can go to find you.
Yeah, so we're on Facebook and Instagram. Okay, we try and post as much as possible. You can also look on our website, homecleanheroes.com/Huntsville for our location. Now, we are a franchise, so there are other locations throughout the country. So if you're here listening in the Dallas Fort Worth area, there is a Home Clean Heroes in that location. In Charlotte, there's a location. There's multiple locations throughout the country. So if anything, if you just look up Home Clean Heroes, more than likely you'll be able to find the location closest to you. But our link is homecleanheroes.com/Huntsville.
This is so awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm going to leave links in the show notes to all the things that Ryan talked about and also how you can get in touch with him if by chance you happen to be listening to this as a podcast or you're out walking your dog or something like that right now. So thanks again for joining us. We will see you guys same time, same place next week. And thank you, Ryan, so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate it. It's been fun.